Welcome to Newt's World Podcast on the iHeart Podcast Network. The greatest American inventions. Today's invention is the one that, more than any other, made the digital age possible. Without it, no computers, no smartphones, no internet, no GPS. It is the fundamental building block of every electronic device made in the last 75 years. And most people have never thought about it for a single second, even though they're surrounded by billions of them at every moment of every day. That is the transistor. Before the transistor, electronic circuits ran on vacuum tubes, glass bulbs with metal electrodes that could amplify or switch electrical signals. They worked. ENIAC, the first general-purpose electronic computer, built in 1945, contained about 18,000 vacuum tubes. It weighed 30 tons, occupied 1,800 square feet, and consumed 150 kilowatts of power. And vacuum tubes burned out constantly. They were fragile, expensive, hot, and large. At Bell Telephone Laboratories in Murray Hill, New Jersey, then one of the greatest scientific institutions in the world, a team assembled to work on solid-state physics. The team was led by William Shockley, with key collaborators John Bardeen, one of the most exceptional theoretical physicists of the century, and Walter Brattain, a gifted experimental physicist with a talent for making things actually work. On December 16, 1947, Bardeen and Brattain demonstrated the first working transistor, a small piece of germanium with two gold foil contacts. It could amplify an electrical signal. Shockley, learning of their success, produced an improved design, the junction transistor, which became the basis for virtually all transistor technology that followed. All three shared the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1956. The implications were immediately apparent to engineers, if not to the public. Here was a device that could do everything a vacuum tube could do, but solid state, small, fast, cool, reliable, and cheap. Bell Labs, under pressure from the government, licensed the technology broadly rather than keeping it proprietary. Any company could manufacture transistors, and they did. The first transistor radios appeared in 1954. Small, battery-powered, fit in a shirt pocket. Rock and roll spread partly because transistor radios made music mobile and personal for the first time. But the much larger development came in 1958, when Jack Kilby at Texas Instruments and Robert Noyce at Fairchild Semiconductor independently invented the integrated circuit, putting multiple transistors on a single piece of semiconductor with connections built in. Now you could put not just one transistor, but dozens, then hundreds, then millions, and then billions onto a chip the size of a fingernail. Intel's first microprocessor in 1971 contained 2,300 transistors. As powerful as the 30-ton ENIAC, smaller than a thumbnail, today's most advanced chips contain more than 100 billion transistors, operating at billions of cycles per second, each transistor smaller than many viruses. And the cost per transistor has fallen so far it is essentially zero. This progression, Moore's Law, has continued for more than 50 years, the most sustained technological advance in history, all built on the transistor. Bardeen, remarkably, won a second Nobel Prize for a completely different discovery, the theory of superconductivity, making him only one of 4 people in history to win the Nobel Prize twice. But here's what I find most remarkable about this story. It was born of basic research, not a military contract, not a crisis, not a specified commercial goal, just fundamental scientific inquiry into how electrons behave in solid materials, funded by a private company that understood, in a general way, that understanding electrons would eventually lead to better communications. Bell Labs didn't know what they were looking for. They were just looking. And what they found changed everything. That's the argument for basic research. You cannot always know in advance what fundamental knowledge will produce. You fund the best minds, point them at the hardest problems, and trust that what they discover will matter. Bell Labs in its heyday is one of the greatest arguments for that philosophy that history has to offer. Next time we move from the laboratory to the syringe, from New Jersey to Pittsburgh, and meet a doctor who asks himself, why should children have to be afraid of summer? The polio vaccine. Newt's World is produced by Gingrich 360 and iHeartMedia. Our executive producer is Garnsey Sloan. Our researcher is Rachel Peterson. Special thanks to the team at Gingrich 360. If you've been enjoying Newt's World, I hope you'll go to Apple Podcasts and both rate us with 5 stars and give us a review so others can learn what it's all about. Join me on Substack at Gingrich360.net. I'm Newt Gingrich. This is Newt's World.